What's up, everybody? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, the Hot Commodity Aunt C, joined by my own hot commodity, who goes by Aunt B. And we are trying out a new series for you listeners and subscribers. This is After the Bell, a weekly recap every Monday, giving you the inside scoop on everything that happened on Raw and SmackDown. And if there was a pay-per-view, we'll cover that. We'll also be going over the top moments that took place in history on the date that we're recording and some pay-per-view things to look forward to and all fun stuff. So this is new. Are you excited? You're ready to go? So this is recording this on Monday, 26, 2025. Happy Memorial Day to everybody in the States. Our army and soldiers fight for us to live and smoke pot and do the things that we do.
Yeah.
But seriously though, happy Memorial Day. We have the day off and it's because of all the soldiers and army people and navy and military, all the ranks defending our country. And
WWE doesn't do their troop thing anymore, do they?
they used to, I don't know, they did the year before in 2023, I think, but I don't think they did it last year, the tribute to the troops. That's usually in December, though. But fun fact, my school was at the Memorial Day parade today, so that's fun. The marching band. I didn't get to see it, but fun fact. So Memorial Day, tonight's one in DC. They were at the actual thing. So this is Monday, so clearly we saw an episode of Raw and we saw an episode of SmackDown, but we're going to talk about, because this is a stacked show, we're not going to talk about last week's Raw because a lot more happened on Saturday night's main event that I think is important. So we're going to cover SmackDown, Saturday night's main event, NXT Battleground, and let's get started with all of that. So SmackDown was live last week. I think I have it in my notes here. Let me see. Where did SmackDown take place last week? It was in Savannah, Georgia. Lovely Savannah.
And it was Bray Wyatt's birthday.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt's birthday. So there wasn't a lot of stuff that happened on this episode of SmackDown, so I only wrote down two moments that I thought were important. One being Julia advancing into the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match, meaning we now have Alexa Bliss, Julia, and Roxanne Perez in that match. And I thought that was important because Charlotte Flair was involved and so was Zelina. And I felt like Charlotte was going to be the one to win, but they actually went with Julia. And I thought that was a surprise.
It was funny because I was watching a wrestling podcast a couple weeks ago and they said, the three things you can be sure of are death, taxes, and Charlotte Flair winning PLEs. So,
Yeah. Fucking Charlotte Flair going into business for herself. That's always fun too. And then you sort of mentioned this earlier with Bray Wyatt's birthday being the day of SmackDown being taped. We saw the return of the Wyatt Six, and they interfered in the main event tag match between the Street Profits and Fraxium, and they destroyed everybody in their path. And I was happy to see the Wyatt Six back, but I want to see more from them. Now they're back, I don't want it just to be they come out and attack people. I want more story developed behind them, but I was excited to see the Wyatt Six back.
I agree. And, when they first came out, it was great. I loved all the, all the QR code thing. That was like really like cutting edge for WWE. It was fun. And all the puzzles every week that would come out and you'd have to, analyze the pictures and everything. It was a lot of fun. And then they made their debut where they fucked up Chad Gable. His head was bleeding in gorilla position, and that was really cool. Like they just destroyed everybody, and then they came out and did their thing for a few weeks, and just as it was like starting to get good, they just disappeared.
And They have to keep up with that sort of have to be monsters if they're gonna be good because they were kind of fucking boring and shitty for taking pictures in a fucking local Denny's. That was not fun. There was a fan that took a picture with them right after they debuted, and it kind of took the mystique of them away. A lot of fans said, but yeah. So let's cover main event. It was this past Saturday on NBC. For two moments out from the show to me. The first being the opening match where we saw Bronson Reed joining forces with Paul Heyman, Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins. Bronson Reed destroyed CM Punk with a tsunami, and it went back and forth. And now he is the motive behind this.
Um, it's funny because I don't really know because the last time we saw Bronson Reed, he was in a feud with Seth Rollins, and it was kind of Bronson Reed's um first feud with somebody that wasn't a mid card. So they had a couple matches and they were good. Um, but you can it can be played off that Seth beat him, and you can't beat him, join him.
Yeah. Well, he definitely joined them. And then the other second story coming out of Saturday Night's main event, Cody Rhodes returns and helps out Jey Uso defend off Logan Paul and John Cena. Cody Rhodes lands a crossroads to John Cena, grabs the mic, and says, I'm tired of you ruining everything. At Money in the Bank, I'm teaming up with Jey Uso to take on you two. So we've got Cody Rhodes and the World Heavyweight Champion Jey Uso against the WWE Champion John Cena and Logan Paul at Money in the Bank in 2 weeks. What do you think of that match being made?
I think it'll be cool, but I don't know if John Cena and Logan Paul have developed enough of a relationship for it to quite make sense. And Cody and Jay, you could say, well, they're like the biggest two baby faces right now. But yeah, like Logan Paul and John Cena, I kind of wish that like we saw a little something more happen and be with them. Like maybe if Logan Paul should have um come down during Cena's fight or something, you know. I mean, yeah, he Cena did help in Logan Paul's fight, but it wasn't to help Logan Paul, it was to ruin wrestling. So
Well, maybe that's why, and maybe Logan Paul will turn, because he's just the pawn in Cena's game. Like, you know, he tells him straight out, he's like, like if you're a champion, you're gonna ruin wrestling. I mean, that's kind of like I take offense to that. I'd be like, well, like what the fuck do you mean by that? But Logan Paul is just like, yeah, I'm gonna be champion. So it's like,
would be
and
if Logan Paul had any you know, I can't think of the word.
balls,
Not ball. If he had any like
sense.
you know,
I definitely think if they were to lose that Money in the Bank, Cena's going to attack Paul after the match because Cena doesn't want to be a loser, and I don't see John Cena unless they're going to book Cody Rhodes and John Cena for SummerSlam. I don't think Cena would take the pinfall at Money in the Bank, but they might do that, so he would take the pinfall.
we haven't seen Cena take a pinfall yet.
And really quick, something else to remember. Gunther is fighting Jey Uso for the world title the night after, well, 2 nights after at on Raw. So I wonder if Gunther's going to get involved at all.
Yeah. I would really like to see Gunther and Logan Paul, but I don't know if Jay is going to lose the title quite that quick. But by SummerSlam, he's going to have had the title a couple months. So.
Next, we're going to cover NXT Battleground, which took place last night, Sunday, May 25th, from Tampa, Florida. And again, two important moments. I felt like the women stole the show from that night. So Ruka and Kalani Jordan went at it. Stephanie Vacker and Jordan Grace went at it. And I felt like those two matches were memorable. Aside from Tony D'Angelo and Channing Stacks Lorenzo in terms of match wise, those two were the best matches, and I'm excited to see the next NXT pay per view, which I think is going to be Worlds Collide, which is on YouTube on the same day that Money in the Bank is, June 7th. But I really like the women's matches, the opening Kalani Jordan, Sol Ruka, and Stephanie and Jordan. Tony and Stacks was good too. Like in terms of match wise, I'd go with Jordan, Stephanie, Stacks, Soul, Trick Williams, and then Obafemi.
I would really like to see. I think what's her name,
Jordan Grace.
I think that she's gonna be up on the main roster probably in the next year, and I could think of like some great. I would love to see her and Rhea Ripley, and I'd love to see her and Bianca Belair.
Her and Becky.
Well,
Powerhouse. Yeah, but Becky is like there. Jordan Grace is a multiple time TNA champion. They have to fight each other.
definitely hang with her, and Becky will probably beat her, but I just think it would be cool to see her against like Rhea.
And the second moment from NXT, we have a new TNA champion in Trick Williams. He is the fourth ever African American champion in the company's history. He is a current WWE wrestler, and he is the world heavyweight champion of another promotion. This is not the first time it's happened, but it's a bigger stage for it to happen. And I thought
Happened for a WWE star.
cool way to end the night and get you wanting to see me.
It was. I said to you in the beginning of the night, I'm like, well, they could. I think I said to you they could surprise us all and give them the championship, but I totally did not think it was going to happen.
I was surprised myself too because with Trick Williams being TNA champion, it changes everything in that landscape, and I'm excited to see him do some TNA stuff as well. So you can check out our full recaps of all these episodes in the archive. Just make sure you subscribe, like, hit the notification bell on YouTube to find those. Also, they're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music as well. Now we're going to go today in history, and we're going to cover everything that happened in professional wrestling history on this day, May 26th. So, on May 26, 1987, the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan were arrested in New Jersey on drug possession charges while driving the New Jersey Turnpike. Jim Duggan was charged with marijuana and drinking while driving, and Iron Sheik was charged with having cocaine and marijuana on him. So, what a fun ride for the Iron Sheik and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, man.
Yeah, I've seen some. I saw a funny interview about Bret Hart talking about sharing a hotel room with the Iron Sheik and how he never slept and everything. It was pretty funny.
I think Undertaker talks about him squatting outside.
Yes, I'm sorry, it wasn't Bret. It was Undertaker. You're right.
I mean, I would have been. It's Memorial Day weekend, man. I would have been fucking pissed if that happened to me if I got pulled over for that shit. Damn, that must have been a crazy ride. One's got cocaine and one's drinking and pot. God, the Holy Trinity. Also on May 26th, but in 1996, the In Your House Beware of Dog pay-per-view took place, and it was a disaster. There was a severe thunderstorm. Toy Story that knocked the lights go out, and the people watching at home can't see it. So what happens in the arena is they end up putting a huge like flashlight, an emergency light, and the matches take place. But the pay per view was split in half, and people got to watch it for free. They taped it again. So interesting incidents take place on that day. Also on May 26th, in 1997, on Raw is War, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels become WWF Tag Team Champions, defeating the current champions Owen Hart and the British Bulldog. And that will happen that summer. They'll be champions for a little bit. I remember the King of the Ring, they had an issue and they were champions at the time. So before the Attitude Era. Then on May 26th in 2007, this is the last fact, Vince McMahon promised to give away $1 million the next week on Raw to a lucky participant. However, It drew the lowest rate, well, one of the lowest ratings in WWE. It was an attempt to bring up the ratings, but it didn't really do much.
Did he give the $1 million away?
I don't think so. I think it was fake.
Also, wasn't this week Owen Hart?
What?
Wasn't this week the anniversary of Owen Hart's death?
Um, I think he died like May 20th or like 20. I don't know what day it was actually.
They were just saying on something the other day that it was the day that Owen Hart died.
Well, rest in peace, Owen Hart, and fuck your ex-wife Martha. It's not an ex-wife, but you know what I mean.
Also, we have poor Jim Ross, who's been diagnosed with cancer this week.
Poor Jim Ross. I'm sorry, my man. Taz fucked things up for you back in 2000, and you're still dealing with the repercussions of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but seriously though, I hope Jim Ross gets better. He was the voice of my childhood with Jim Cherry King Lawler.
He's already saying that his goal is to be at the first AEW stadium event in America, which is coming up next month.
I don't know, maybe. Is it all out or all in?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, Jim Ross. We'll see you there, Boomer Sooner. All right, so before we go, we're gonna cover the what's expected to take place on Raw and SmackDown. So tonight on Raw, Raw's gonna be live May 26th from Tampa, Florida. The World Tag Team Champions, the New Day, defending against the War Raiders. Rusev will take on Akira Tozawa. We have a Money in the Bank qualifying match: Chad Gable versus Dragon Lee versus Penta, and then another men's qualifying Money in the Bank match: Sami Zayn versus Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins. That's going to be interesting. For SmackDown, that's going to take place on May 30th. We have Bianca Belair, who will be returning to SmackDown, a men's Money in the Bank qualifying match: Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade versus the United States champion Jacob Fatu.
Sammy, Finn, and Seth is for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that's tonight.
Okay.
For SmackDown, also the women's side of the qualifying Money in the Bank match: Nia Jax versus Jade Cargill versus Naomi.
I'm excited about that one.
That one's going to be good. And John Cena, the WWE champion, will be returning to SmackDown, probably to make comments about his upcoming Money in the Bank match. But that is all the time we have for you today with After the Bell. It's our first episode. I'm sure it's going to get better. We'll get more fucking uncensored as we go, but we're dealing with some technical difficulties on our end. But if you like the show, make sure you let us know. Keep tuning in, and we will see you next Monday with After the Bell.
If you don't like it, you don't have to tell us.
Yeah, you don't have to tell us. I mean, you can if you want, but we won't give a fuck. So until next time, stay safe and stay uncensored.